this year, if you haven't ever been, this year I had the honor again of going and presenting at the User Group Summit in wonderful Orlando, and just wanted to bring a few of the things to the table that I saw while I was there, give you a little bit of information about what it is if you've never been before or never looked at it or anything along those lines, benefits of it, and so on. So let's take a look. So for anybody who hasn't met me before or seen me present at one of these, my name is Sean Hunter. I've been with Turnkey since 2011. I am a dynamics reporting specialist and implementation specialist on the supply chain side. So this year I went and I presented. As you can see, there's a lot of presenters. I stole this slide from the speaker note that they had during the GPUG session. So it was 4 days long. There were hundreds of sessions, thousands of attendees, massive amounts of content that were out there. Lots of different people presenting this year. So it's not just the same people. If you look underneath here, or you really analyze my slide as you're looking through this, we've got some of the big names that you've probably seen as you're looking out there: Belinda Allen, Mark Colino, Mariano Gomez, things like that. But there's also a lot of other individuals that are there sharing their knowledge as well, and a lot of new talent being brought to the board. So lots of people out there presenting on different topics. And these right here, these were just for the GPUG Summit. So that's just the list of individuals that were there talking about our neck of the woods. But then there's, of course, other presenters filling up this slide for the AX side and for CRM and so on. So GPUG Summit, if you used to go to it, now it was called User Group Summit North America, because they have one here. They actually have one across the sea in Europe as well. I think it's in Barcelona next year. So tell everybody you want to go to the European one. Absolutely. If you're going to go to one. So they've got it over there. So it's North America this year. Next year, it's actually going to be named a little bit different. They're going to have it set as the Dynamics Community Summit. So they're trying to kind of normalize everything. Their logos are changing. We'll take that look in a second. But this was a slide that I thought was really interesting, as they were up talking on the stage about some of the statistics that come out of the GPUG user website. So if nobody's ever been to gpug.com, these are the statistics that are out there on that specific website. You've got a lot of people collaborating, a lot of users that are collaborating on this site, passing knowledge along, helping out with your questions. So not that I want you guys stepping away from us necessarily for support and everything. I want you to be knowledgeable that there is an avenue that you can go through this site to ask questions, to get answers and things like that. And your peers, other people using the software system, and consultants may chime in to help you out with your issue. So many topics, and I get out there every once in a while just to see which ones haven't been hit and if I can actually answer something for somebody, because I like to leave it to kind of the peers to answer, because it's supposed to be that peer-to-peer communication. But most of the things I see, within a couple of minutes, there's somebody that's answered it and chimed in on it, or there's hundreds of responses and things like that. So you're bound to get answers on those. So there's a lot of different things out there. There's a lot of files available for download, a lot of different participants, as you can see, how many people visit monthly. So there's a lot of statistics that go into this, and a lot of people visiting and working as a community within this website. If you've never looked into it, I see everybody sitting here. There is a St. Louis chapter, if you didn't realize that. So there is a GP User Group St. Louis chapter that is available to you. They hold quarterly meetings. I've presented at a few of those as well. They usually have another consultant out to present at other ones and things like that. So that's definitely an opportunity. Attendance isn't everything that I would like it to be when I attend them. So if you guys are ever interested in going to those, it's always a nice experience, and you get to learn a lot of different things. So good participation. So one of the things that they spoke about while they were there is the new GP release that came out in October. So if you're on GP 2018 and you're ready to bump, or maybe you already bumped, here's your laundry list of things that you just gained access to in the new version of 2018 that came out in October. So I threw that on there. I added the link onto the slide, which is helpful to go into because it does give you all the screenshots of where these things exist in the system. Lots of pretty cool things that have been added to it. I'm excited about some of the new things that they added for the workflow aspect of being able to set up new users and actually have that go to somebody to approve. especially if you're in a hosting environment or you're trying to lock down and make sure that people aren't just adding magical users to the system. You can send that out and have that user approved to be added to GP. You can have their security approved as well. You can also require that new security tasks and security roles require some sort of approval before they get flagged in the system, so that people aren't just magically creating semi-power users that have access to your financial data and you don't know where it came from. So you're able to lock those types of things down. Added a few other things in there as well. There's now compatibility with, of course, the new versions of SQL Server and Windows Server and Office 2019. Some other sorting things that they've added. The inactive field was added to the smart list for items now. You know, they added that checkbox recently into your items. Now that's an available checkbox or available lookup in the smart list. They've added a few. I think one of the neat things that they've added is in your date parameters in your smart list, they've added some more options in there for prior month selection as well. So if you've got any of your smart lists that you're using for more of a dynamic run, where when I open it up, it automatically filters this date range, well, they've added those in where you could do prior month type calculations as well, where you could say, okay, where my dates between beginning of the prior month and the end of the prior month, and that smart list just goes, so you're not always having to fill in those dates. So a lot of interesting things that they've added to it. Still alive and well, obviously, and they're continuing adding new content to it. A lot of these were user suggestion type things as well. So another piece that you gain with, you know, the community and jumping out there and things is being able to participate in the suggestions that come out of GP. So if there's something you really don't like, you can go submit it and say, I'd love to see this in there, and then you can go out and campaign for it and talk to other people, and other people will go, I don't like that either, I want that too, and then they'll start to upvote it, and the more upvotes you get, the more chances there are for something to go into it.
Wait, I'm pretty excited about the show user who posted the journal entry inquiry. Because I don't know how many times we get a question on, how can I see who posted this? And we're like,
I'm most excited that you're analyzing down to the little details on this monitor right here to look at all the stuff that I had listed.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so the other thing that they announced is kind of a unification of all the different user groups that are out there. So if you've been out to the GPUG site, you've been out to any of the other user groups that are out there, it was always, they all kind of had their own thing going on, their own theme, their own design and everything. So the Dynamics community has stepped in, kind of enveloped everybody, and started their own branding scheme. So you'll see all of these different user groups out there, but they all kind of keep that same branding of the logo. It's meant to be a unified community, because you may have users over in Power BI. Say that again? Is that Alexa? So what you'll see down the road is, you know, you may interact with some of these other groups, or as you outgrow GP, you'll step into one of the other user groups. But that's kind of the nice thing, is that it's all under a unified platform. It's a bunch of different individuals working together in whatever aspect that they function on a day-to-day. And that member is growing. So I just grabbed a little statistic down there. That's on the Dynamics community website. So I thought it was interesting to see that there's 28,000 people that are working in this environment. So lots going on. So User Group Summit, if you've never been, just a little bit of the detail that goes along with it. So this year it was 4 days long. They have an opening keynote where they get different individuals, major players from different areas of the Dynamics community, come out, they talk, they give you an idea of what's going on in the Dynamics 365 space, in the GP space, Power BI, and everything. So they give a little temperature reading of that. Session progresses along. You start to get breakout sessions where now you're sitting down with an individual like me as a consultant, or other individuals from their own company who have been elected for these things. So these are all topics that are submitted over time. I think this year they had thousands of topics submitted, and then they had to break it down to whatever they ended up with in the session. But you've got multiple different individuals out there talking about various different things. So when you're going, you plan, you look, you find out what the agenda is, and you just kind of figure out your track. Okay, am I there for this, this, and this? Look at the topics and set those aside. And then you've got, I think they have about 7 to 8 sessions in a day, all, you know, where you could literally make it from one to the other and things. But then there's 10, 15 going on simultaneously during those time slots. This year they did something that was kind of exciting as well. They recorded some of the sessions, not all of them, but they recorded a lot of the bigger ones and things like that, which what that allowed you to do is you could kind of strategically look and go, well, that's going to be recorded. I'll get that one later so I could go over here and do this one. So if you can take somebody with you, the buddy system is always great for these things. For one, it's a lot more fun, but two, you guys can divide and conquer and somebody can go tackle these things while somebody can go get content from the other one. So lots of educational sessions going on. They continue to evolve it. This year they had, and I'm so glad that I didn't have to present in one of these because I think I probably would have beamed somebody, but they had this thing where you had the little ball thing that you threw to them, and once that person was holding that, they had a microphone on. So it was like a silent session, and they were tuned into your session watching you, and you had to throw them this thing, and then their microphone would activate, and they were able to talk to you. I'm like, there really should be some sort of vetting system for this. They go, well, you're going to be in this, but do you have good aim? Nope. All right, you're not in this one. So, but it was a neat environment to see because I walked into this area just to see what it was like, and you literally had, so like a group of you guys sit in this direction, this section over here is pointing this direction, another one's pointing towards the back, and all you literally kind of did was just turn whichever way you wanted to look and listen, and you could tune in your microphone for 4 different sessions. So they're always trying new things to hopefully make it more exciting. A lot of different sessions going on. It definitely was it was bigger than the venue that we were at. It was at the Gaylord Palms in Orlando, so beautiful place to go to, but we were all over. It was a maze sometimes to find some of the different places to be able to go to. So next year, it is going to be at the Gaylord in Nashville. So if you haven't ever been to a Gaylord before, this was the one that I had been to. I think I was there in like 2004, 2005, something along those lines. Very, very pretty. These are pictures from the one that they have there. It's basically an indoor habitat. You don't necessarily need to leave. They've got all this greenery and stuff. You're in a gigantic terrarium. I didn't leave while I was there except for a couple of the partner events that went on after hours. But lots of opportunity to go see what they have to show. Way to get a lot of good content. Networking is fantastic. You know, it's all a shared meal hall, so you can go and find a place that you want to sit down. A lot of the tables will have little flags on them letting you know kind of what the topic is for that. Or they'll have ISVs sitting at those tables that you could talk to as well. They have a huge vendor fair. So if you're ever in the space of, right now, sometimes it's kind of hard to hit the web and look for everything GP because you go out and you do a search and you get 50,000 entries for it. It's kind of nice going to these because they have a gigantic vendor hall. You walk through, you find your color coding. So we're like the orangish color. You go, okay, and then you can talk to them about what it is that they have to offer. And they've got everything from warehouse management to fixed assets management to taxing, just every ISV you can imagine out there. And again, it's a lot of fun to go and do this. They do try to keep it interesting and fun, so it's not just this, you know, really stressful run around type learning session. So if you've never been before, I highly recommend it.